All right, hello everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. So, I wanted to have a really quick video. I really want to talk about something that's kind of sort of important. All right. I understand that the crypto space is a little bit difficult to understand. There's a lot of projects. It takes a lot to kind of change your mindset. Cryptocurrency and blockchain technology has kind of forced us to change how we think about finance. So I kind of really want to have an important conversation about what's been going on and an article that came out. I'm not going to go over it because I'm not going to do all that clicking and stuff. I just want to talk about the overall general consensus of exactly what's going on. So, first and foremost, before I get into that, I will say later on today I will be making another video on VeChain. Someone asked me to cover VeChain, so we're gonna do a little bit on that as well. So that's just coming up. But let's talk about this guy, Dave Ramsey. Um, I actually have a. He's actually I subscribe to him on YouTube. So I get his a lot of his finance calls and everything, and a lot of what he talks about is a lot of it's um it's financial, but it's like a change of lifestyle, right? If you want to save money, which he's in the business of saving money and getting out of debt. So when you want to save money and get out of debt, he has obviously there has to be some kind of lifestyle changes. There has to be. You can't save money or make money if you don't do the things that you need to do in order to get there. And the biggest thing is called education. You really need to educate yourself. You also really need to look at how you are spending your money and what you are doing with your money. Now I'm getting into crypto in a second here. So a caller came up. I actually listened. I didn't. There was an article that came up after this, but I actually had listened to the entire phone call. And the guy came in and he basically said, he made 100,000 from cryptocurrency and Bitcoin, and he invested 1,500, and he was wondering what he should do with it and everything else in between. Dave Ramsey, for the most part, was like, cash out, just get out right now. He wasn't the only call like that. Dave Ramsey has had cryptocurrency calls before as well. So each and every time, I believe one kid, um, it had something to do with his mother investing in Bitcoin, took out $7,000 or something like that, invested in Bitcoin, and this was a while back. So this was like when Bitcoin was like around 9 to 10,000. You guys know where it's at right now. And Dave Ramsey was like, get your money, take it out, whatever. So here's the thing: Dave Ramsey is a professional in his business. I am an idiot. I don't know a lot of stuff. I try to educate myself on the best that I possibly can through knowledge and wisdom, and just try to learn from others. That's the biggest thing. And I'm glad because we have something like YouTube where we can kind of bounce ideas from each other and learn from each other. So this guy's a professional, and it kind of made me sick to my stomach to the fact that it's like me personally, I'm not intimidated with someone who says, "Oh, well, I've studied finance for years and years and years and years." And he called, and Dave Ramsey, that is, on this call, he calls Bitcoin funny money. Um, Now he's in the business of saving, which means that you take the money that you have, you save it up, and then you put it into something conservative because he does believe in 401ks and all that other good stuff, and let it grow over time extremely slowly. But what he doesn't understand is he's very uneducated when it comes to cryptocurrencies. And that's okay. But it made me realize something. It made me realize exactly why people are uneducated when it comes to cryptocurrency. And I have to say this, and I know a lot of you are not going to like when I say this, but I'm going to say it in a way. It has a lot to do with culture. You cannot let your culture, or you should not allow your culture to get in the way of your education. If you want to understand something, you need to really dig deep and educate yourself. But here's the problem. And I know Dave Ramsey is like this Christian guy and everything else in between. And I don't want to get into religion. Unfortunately, I'm going to be making an entire total different series, a whole nother thing, because I used to be in the ministry for a long period of time, born and raised fundamental independent Baptist. I'm not going to get into that right now, but the point is that I used to be super duper religious. I used to be extremely conservative. I understand how a lot of conservative people think. I understand how a lot of people think in general. So when it comes to conservatives and liberals and everything else in between, I know because I've been in both spectrums and I know how they think. And how Dave Ramsey thinks is you don't deviate from the things that have worked before because you don't want to take that chance to mess something up. Well, let's see here. Bitcoin's been out since 2009. You've had about 9 or 10 years to really kind of understand blockchain technology and Bitcoin. And yes, in the beginning, there was extreme doubters. I've faced a whole lot of people who, when I was in the military, I was in class, and this was 2012. And the guy was like, I was talking to the teacher. I'm like, oh, yeah. I really like Bitcoin or whatever because I had an opportunity to purchase it for $25, which I'm going to get into that whole story. I'm going to make another video, short video on that whole story. But I was like, yeah, I had a chance to invest in it at $25. It was 25 cents and $25. I can't remember at the time. He was like, it was at 700 at that point. And he was like, yeah, he was an old country guy, not old country guy, but he was an older country guy, probably in his late 30s. And he was like, yeah, Bitcoin, yeah. The people fall for any kind of scams and everything else in between. And, I just got, I got my dogs and I just want to be happy on my house and my 2 dogs and that's it. And I'm like, I really don't understand. Like, I kind of had a flashback when I was listening to Dave Ramsey of this ignorant guy talking about something that he was ignorant. He didn't understand it. And it's the same thing with Dave Ramsey. Like, he's ignorant. He doesn't understand it. And you're not going to understand when you have a lot of money and you want to, like I said before, he's in the business of saving people money and making sure that the money doesn't go all the way down to zero. Well, everybody knows that cryptocurrency is there's a risk in everything. But at this point, if you're doubting Bitcoin, this guy me personally, I would tell him, dude, just leave your money in there. Just leave the 100,000 in there. Just let it go for 10 more years. Shit. But I'm just saying, like, this dude was asking Dave Ramsey for advice on something that Dave Ramsey is uneducated about. And that's a problem. This is going to be a growing problem, and we're hitting crossroads here in America because we're getting to the point to where we have a lot of people, and I get it. There are a lot of people who are patriotic, oh, America this, the dollar, everything else in between. I was laughed at a couple years ago in my undergrad, and I actually made a presentation about Bitcoin and was talking about it and where things are going to go and everything else in between. And, one lady was like, oh, wow, that's very interesting. And she was a lawyer. But the other guy, there was another guy, he was there and he was like, well, I don't see how it's going to go anywhere and everything else in between. And I looked at him and again, I had those flashbacks because I'm like, this has to be a culture thing. It really does have to be a culture thing. In all cultures, not just one culture, in all of our cultures, we have an opportunity to learn something different, and our culture gets in the way. Our brains gets in the way of allowing us to educate ourselves and kind of think a little bit differently. And so I said all that to say this. when you're learning about cryptocurrency, those who are new, if you're not new, those who are into different projects, educate yourself. Please, please, please educate yourself. Everything is a scam. You should treat everything as if it was a scam, because it's very easy to get scammed these days. However, it's even more important that you take the time to really do a deep dive into what you are learning about, and you'll be okay, or what you're investing in. You'll be okay. It's all about education, people. And like I said, I believe in one of my videos from the Fox and the Hound, kablam, elimination, lack of education. So when we look at, and this is just a message for everyone out there, when you look at your culture and you look at how you view money, how you view life in general, how you're living your life, all of that makes an impact on your decisions that you make. And it even shows in the cryptocurrency space. We have so many people that are like, man, I want to be a millionaire right now. I can drive the Lambo and everything else in between. And then they fall for these scams online, because they have these guys in these YouTube videos and they're rolling up in these Lamborghinis that's either rented, or they really don't really care about it, or they have they're it's truly their Lambos, but it's really just the act. This is not real, people. Some of these people, especially the Bitcoin millionaires, they waited for 8-9 years to reach to the point. No, excuse me, 7 years. 7 or 8 years to reach to the point to where Bitcoin got to 20,000 last time. You see what I'm saying? So there has to be education and patience, and really understand where the world is going. Now, another issue when it comes to culture is some people have a culture of how should I say this? I'm just going to say it. A slave-like mind culture. And what I mean by that is your mind is enslaved, which means that you're not thinking for yourself. Well, this is the way I always did it. Well, this is the way the country has been doing this for years and years and years. Money has not been done. We've always ashamed. We always had taxes. We always did this. We always had poor people. There's always going to be hungry people. There's always going to be this. Instead of looking at things to really solve a problem in the world, your culture and the way you think and the way you brought up teaches you or shows you that, hey, this is the way things have always been. Stay with what's comfortable. For me, I like to be uncomfortable. I like for someone I took a Native American class in college, and I have never been so uncomfortable as a Black American here. I had never been so uncomfortable about what happened. Yes, for anybody out there, I am aware of what happened back in the day. Please don't try to educate me about Black people being slaves to Native Americans. I understand that. I get it totally. What I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of bad things that has happened in history. There's a lot of things that goes on in this world. And we have to kind of just open our minds and say, okay, how can we solve this problem? Cryptocurrency, blockchain is the start. This is just the beginning of something that's changing how we think about everything. And when it comes to thinking about finances, that's pretty much everything. Everything revolves around money, income, finances, savings. Everything revolves around it. Your whole life revolves around it. That's why you work 40 or 50 times out of 40 or 50 hours out of the week. You know what I'm saying? So my point is that you have to really look at your life and see where your life is going. And that's why when someone's talking about exit strategy, it really does. This coincides exactly with what I was saying before. It really does depend on you and what you want out of life. But most of all, people, please, you need to educate yourself on cryptocurrency. You need to do your own research. And as much as you possibly can. I do understand that we're really busy. A lot of people are trying to survive. Some people don't even have any money. There's a stimulus check coming up. You're getting $600. You're gonna buy some bubble gum? Like, I mean, come on, man. Like, I don't understand what they're stimulating. The only thing they're stimulating is I'm not even going to get into that because that's a whole nother story. But anyway, going back to what I was talking about Dave Ramsey. There's a certain type of culture that I've realized here in America that has been stifling the growth of human beings in general. And here in America, I can't speak for other countries. I really can because I'm kind of educated. When it comes to cryptocurrency, I'm a little educated. When it comes to religion and culture, I'm a lot educated. A lot. But I'll talk about that later. But the point is that there's a lot going on in the world. There's some changes that need to happen in this world. And it cannot happen with people being uneducated. Okay. It cannot happen if you're looking up to famous people and say, oh, well, this famous person invests in Bitcoin, I guess I'll do the same. That's not the way it works. That's not the way it should work. Let me correct that. That's not the way it should work. You should be looking at yourself and saying what you need to do for your life, because your life is important. Not a movie star's life, not what they're doing with their money, not what they're doing with the dog, not how their dog is dressed up, not who they married, not who they divorced, not any of that stuff. Not who their kids are, not what they're doing, not what they're raised. The only thing that you should be concerned about as far as famous people is, hey, when's their next movie coming out? Like, hey, what are they working on? Oh, wow, that's great. Well, she did a really good job acting, or he did a really good job acting, all that other good stuff. I'm not hating on pop culture, but what I'm saying is everything needs to have a place. And when it comes to investing and when it comes to cryptocurrency, you really need to educate yourself and be in the right space so that you'll be okay. All right. I know I said it was going to be short. Obviously, I'm ranting because I'm kind of passionate about this. There has to be some kind of, there has to be a better understanding of the crypto space. Okay. So you guys have a wonderful day. I just wanted to bring that up before my cousin's got a basketball game, and I'm her personal coach. Like I said, I'm into basketball, so be watching all of her games this week. But the point is that we have a lot going on in our lives, but it is up to you to educate yourself when it comes to cryptocurrency. And if you keep looking, just imagine how much money people have lost looking to financial advisors talking about, oh, well, you don't want to invest in Bitcoin. And then they go out and they sell their Bitcoin, or they get rid of their Bitcoin, or don't even invest in Bitcoin. And I'm going to say this. I'm really pissed off because here's the thing. People have an opportunity to invest in Bitcoin and they won't. I don't have an opportunity to invest in Bitcoin because I don't make money. I don't have a lot of money. Now, I've invested in like smaller projects and everything else in between. And obviously when those take off, like I said in my exit strategy, I'm dumping a lot into Bitcoin and then I'm moving on from there. But the point is that we have people who are still like, I don't know, the Bitcoin stuff, you heard of Bitcoin? Come on, man. Please, people, please get it together. Please get it together. Anyway, you guys take it easy. I'm really out this time. You guys have been hit with not the crypto truth, but this time my crypto truth. Take it easy and stay safe.